All right, so hi and greetings. I'm Balázs Széky from Kronos Mortus, Hungarian webzine. And I know that a few years ago you answered a couple of our questions through email, but now there's this great chance to see you and talk to you in person online. And as I mentioned, I'm really excited for it. So shall we begin the series of questions?
Absolutely, let's do that.
All right, then, since your formation in 2021, your music has been constantly evolving, and despite you have begun making music in a dim basement, you became critically acclaimed worldwide among the extreme metal music community. How do you call these early days? Where you came from, and what have you become?
Well, it was like the whole thing turned out completely different than it was planned because it was actually nothing planned. It was just, I had a different band before. It was kind of like folky, melodic death metal, and it was a bit too limited for me. So I tried to make something different, just recorded at home and asked JJ, my friend, if he wants to do some lyrics. We never actually wanted to release the stuff, but just uploaded it online, and we get some like nice feedback and people asking if we want to play live. And then it went on and on. We played more shows and more shows, and then at some point, there we are, and it became a huge part of our lives. So it was nothing planned like that, but I'm very happy how it turned out. So.
Oh, that's great. Uh, and indeed, the sound of your early works are remarkably different from your new albums, such as the recent one or Maire. Although I noticed that the grim and fearsome atmosphere, a kind of emotional roller coaster, is still there on the record. I think this is a really unique way of your sounding, and this is a great hallmark of your band, and you are making it to perfection throughout the years. Um, but which elements in the songwriting process you are experimenting the most? Which were the elements you preferred experimenting back in the days and now?
I think back then, we were like JJ and I, we were listening to like certain albums that we both liked, like for example, Heritoire, Alcest, Woods of Desolation, and so on. And that was like the main influence. And it was like the goal was not to have like a clear sound. We didn't have like a clear structure where we want to go. It was more harsh. It was like a bedroom production. And the more music we did together, the more it evolved, and we tried to implement more influences from all the music that we're listening to, like different indie, alternative rock, and whatever, but still like keep the harshness of black metal, but still melancholic and atmospheric, and make like a mixture of all those things. And yeah, that's we just try to implement everything of the music we like and see how it turns out. And yeah, the result you heard already. So.
Yeah, there are so many musical influences together, and I can see that you built in many musical elements while keeping up the black metalish atmosphere.
Yeah, I think it's important, you have the like fast parts, the blast beats and everything, but at the same time, like nice melancholic melodies. And I think the how those two things work together, that's a bit of our trademark. And it's not only calm, it's not only harsh, it's always melodic. And those how it plays together, I think it's what kind of makes our sound.
Oh, great. So far we talked about the musical influences, but I'm sure you have some inspirations from life itself. So I'd like to ask about the significant influences of your childhood years, teenage youth, which impacted your music. So do you have any negative, positive memories, events having a mark on your life, way of thinking, and music making?
But I think like everything kind of influences you. And for JJ, I know like his lyrics are very personal, and it's all stuff that happened to him and that he needs to get off his chest. For me, it's I just try to do this with melodies, and but my in my family, like my mother is also a musician. She plays viola, so
Oh.
I got in touch with music quite early. I played classical guitar, and then I got an electric guitar. Got in touch with like harder music. Like with 9 years, I had my first metal record by In Flames, and that changed my life completely. And from there on, I fell in love with this kind of music, and it constantly evolved. And there were so many great things to discover, and that was like the whole journey through different subgenres of metal. It's everything kind of together in our music, if that makes any sense.
So this was your setting influencing you the most, all the people playing music, and of course the band influences all together.
Exactly. And I was always more into the kind of like melancholic, atmospheric music, not the happy party music. I think I always liked some depth and some sadness in the music. Then it feels more real to me. So that's something I think you can hear in our music as well. There's nothing wrong with like party songs and happy music, but for me to write something like straight from my soul, it's mostly to get like negative things off my chest to feel better afterwards. So that's why it's probably more sounds
Yeah,
a
I
bit
can
more sad to music. Yeah.
absolutely agree on that. Metal is a more sincere genre, and this is why I like it because it covers a more broad spectrum of emotions.
Yeah, and I think there's not it's not necessarily negative because you have to just filter like negative emotions. Like if you get it out by writing music, writing lyrics, or painting or whatever, then and you feel better afterwards. You just find a way to channel it, and that's I think that's a beautiful thing, like through creativity. So it's not necessarily that we want to make negative music that makes people feel bad. Exactly the opposite. Just get things off your chest and then maybe feel better afterwards.
Yeah, and to mention it again, this is why I find your music great because there are a variety of emotions shining through it. So your songs are telling so much about the sorrow, which is worldwide, but at the same time, it gives energy and hope, and it shows also the more heavenly aspects of life. So how can you be able to integrate a vast complexity of feelings and thoughts in your music so well?
Yeah, I mean I think it's just like life. It's ups and downs, and I think that's something you can hear in our music as well. And it's a bit hard for me to talk about the lyrics that JJ wrote, but we often get the feedback that some of our listeners and fans find themselves in and can see their situations in the lyrics, and it helps them to progress and to work out some issues just because they feel understood by it, and that's actually a good thing. So I'd like to say every time we hear it gives something positive to people and helps them, then it's something done right.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that your music helps people getting through also the hard times and downsides. That's great.
Me too. We don't want anyone to feel bad after listening to our music. That's not the goal.
Yeah, and so you are making this type of inspiring music, and also you gave lots of live shows throughout the past few years. How does it feel to be on stage so often? Are these shows giving you some kind of an energy and motivation? And have you noticed any differences in the fan bases of different nations?
Of course, I mean, like if, for example, if you compare Central Europe to South America, or like last year when we went to Kazakhstan and Kyrgyzstan, you can see vast difference because in Central Europe, people have shows every day in big cities like Vienna or Berlin. Like they can choose from like three, four metal shows every day. And in other countries where it's like a more rare thing to have international bands over, you can feel a completely different energy because it's something more special for the people because they don't get the chance so often. So for me, it is quite different energy. Like my favorite continent to play is Latin America, definitely. The energy of the fans is amazing there. And can't wait to be back there. And yeah, like playing live for me, it's like it never gets dull. You know, it's how can I say that best? Sometimes you have days where you don't feel in the mood or you're not looking forward to show, but as soon as you are up on stage, you know that's all like gone and it's just feels right every time. Didn't have a single show where it was not like that. Except one time when I was like really, really sick, because then you cannot focus at all. Yeah, still
Oh.
loving what we do. I think you can speak for all of us.
And you get energized when you are on stage and there's a
Yes,
switch on your mood abruptly. Oh, that could feel
absolutely. Like,
great. All right. And with your music, it seems that you reached a new level of musical evolution because you have a brand new sounding compared to your earlier works, as I mentioned. Uh, is the actual sounding a new way of your music making, or beginning of of kind of a new series of records or projects with this sound and style?
we don't try to force some change. And I think it's a natural thing that you evolve, like when you get older, when you try to bring in some other influences to not repeat yourself, to not recycle certain riffs and everything. It's a natural evolution, I think, and yeah, it's we're not trying to force anything, or I'm not trying to change the style. Like it just happens like during the songwriting process, and happy if we still have like the trademark sound that people can recognize our music, but still we can bring in something new because otherwise it would get boring. You don't want to make the same album over and over again.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
would be
So no
boring for everyone.
overthinking, just do it from the guts as you feel.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, yeah. And speaking of music and art, I noticed a special feature on your new album regarding the artwork. Because I saw all the animal symbols which were included on your previous albums. So could you explain the meaning of it? And could you
Yeah.
tell us something about the artist making this
Yeah,
cover?
it was, yes, as a Bruno, a Brazilian guy, a wonderful artist, friend of mine. I was in Sao Paulo last year and got tattooed by him and just loved the way he paints. So I asked him there if he wants to do the artwork, and I'm very happy with the outcome. And yeah, we always had this thing with the animal topics. It just was, we never, it just happened like this. And this time we just wanted to bring everything together to maybe change something in the style of the artworks the next time. It just felt right. Like we had the title, we had the songs, the Scorched Earth, and like the the children's movie, Watership Down, where all the animals are escaping the forest, was a bit of an inspiration. We thought, why not put all the animals together of the previous covers? And yeah, I think it fits well, and we also couldn't find any other animal that would represent the songs in this way, so we just went for that.
Oh, great. Thank you. Okay, so back to the albums. Um, so I That was your album Maire, which was released in 2021, and it was highly praised by the critics and fans. And I also heard that it reached position number four on the German album chart, which is, I think it's a great result. So, how are you satisfied with it?
Yeah,
And
we were
did
surprised
you
as well,
design any better than this one?
Yeah, it always depends like what albums are released in this period of time, and that's not the goal to have a better chart position. It's nice because Germany is a big music market, and of course, yeah, it looks nice, but it's not the goal to reach a certain chart position, but to make an album that makes the fans happy and that gives something to them that's not boring, and where it charts. I mean, it's a subgenre. It's not one of the main goals to have like a high chart position. But of course it's nice. It was a positive surprise back then, but we're not aiming for a high chart position.
Oh, I see. So now back to your newest album. So this is Scorched Earth. It was long awaited and took a bit longer than usual to be released, but it is a testification of your musical improvement and evolution. So it's quite a monumental record, also with eye-catching videos bringing so many views. So how the recording process began? What was in your mind during the preparation of this album? And have you imagined any shape for the songs?
Now, it is like the songwriting process is always the same. I just play around. I either have a riff or I have a melody, and I build around the song, around a certain theme or a melody. And there's like no certain song structure how I work. It just evolves. Some songs take 2 months to finish, some take 2 days to finish. And yeah, the difference is before we recorded with a friend in Vienna, did the mixing and mastering. This time we decided to go with Christian Kohle in Germany. So I recorded bass and guitars at home, the DI tracks, sent it there to Reamp, and Krim went there to record the drums. And yeah, it was kind of a patchwork. Like vocals were also done in Vienna. We sent it there, then we went there to mix. So there's some things were done here, some things were done there in Germany, and came together nicely. It was a bit of a different process, but it was very great to work with Christian, and I'm very happy with the result. I think that the sound does it justice to music.
Yeah, I absolutely like that album. Okay, but if you could talk about it a bit more, what would you say? What makes this record outstanding and unique? And what feelings and thoughts could you express in it?
Well, I cannot say that the record is outstanding and unique. It's tough to say for me. I heard it so many times. Like I wrote it, I recorded it, and we mixed it. So sometimes you need a bit of like a break to kind of evaluate the music. But I just think it's a bit fresher. It's a bit rockier. Some parts are like more old school, like going back to the first two records. And I think it's a nice mix of everything. And I don't know if it's outstanding, but I think it's a bit different, and I really hope people will enjoy it. Let's see. It's not out yet.
Yeah, I like that there were more experimentation with the keyboards as I heard in the first couple of tracks. I really love that.
Yeah, we did like with the Rhodes piano and all kind of things, like properly played it and didn't only use like plugins for it. So that was also like a bit of a new approach and maybe a little bit more keys than before. And yeah, it just opens up the possibilities for melodies. And yeah, why not experiment a little bit? Huh?
Yeah, indeed. And mentioning the instruments, I noticed that there are multiple guest musicians playing on the album, and also making the songs more diverse and interesting. So how you found out which musician to be assigned to which song?
Like for example, Tim from Austere is like Austere was a huge influence for us. Like JJ and I were listening to one of their records like a lot before we decided to form the band. And now we tour with them in Australia. They're fantastic guys. So it was kind of natural he that we asked him if he want to be featured with his voice because it's like for us personally a very important thing and very important in the history for bands. And Patrick from Groza. Like we toured together last year, and we were sitting around. He was singing along clean to some. I think we were listening to Nirvana, and I really liked his clean voice. So I asked him if he wants to do that, and because I was just like blown away how nice he sings clean. I never heard that before because the Groza stuff is usually just growls and screams, and that's how this came together. And yes, Svalbard is a band that we also like, and we thought this certain part in the song deserves some female vocals, would fit nicely. And thanks to Serena that she took part in it. And the other bonus track that's like not so metally, a bit softer. Daniel, friend of ours that also plays with JJ in Kark in his other band, like just for the voice fit. So we kind of kept it like in the friend circle, all people that we know and where we appreciate the music. So it's all very dear to us, all the guest parts.
Yeah, but these are great crossover songs.
Thank you very much.
Okay. So from albums, musicians, I jumped back a bit to the recording itself, because your first two albums were re-recorded and remastered and re-released by AOP Company. And what was your inspiration for making this decision for the remastering? And what extra features can we expect from these versions compared to the original records?
Yeah, like back then we didn't have the possibilities. It was like mostly like I recorded like the certain drum parts, but like took samples and programmed some stuff. And I think the sound was not there what we imagined for the song. So we thought now we have the possibilities and wanted to try it out like with Cream on drums and like a natural and a bit better sound and how it would sound like with the possibilities we have now to record. And I think it should not replace the old ones, but it should be like it just show how the songs would sound now with our like JJ's voice changed a little bit since then. My guitar playing changed a little bit, so it's like a more recent version of the old things. Like it's not meant to replace the old ones, but I think it's interesting to hear it like with the new sound. And so, yeah, why not?
Yeah, yeah. So these new releases got technically and musically refurbished with
Yeah, like we
some.
recorded everything new, like all the guitars, drums, everything. Like and also like the voice back then, like JJ recorded it like at home, like and we had to like cut everything together. Like the sound quality it was like lots of like editing and effects, and his voice now sounds very different. I mean, he's 10 years older now, and it's also interesting to it. Like it's more like when we play those songs live. So I think it has a very different feeling to it than what we did like 10, 12 years back. Damn, that's long ago already.
Yeah. And speaking of recording, I know that you stood loyal to AOP Records, which released all your albums so far. So I think you are quite satisfied with their work and you can cooperate well. What do you think about them, and why did you find them the best option for
Yeah,
cooperation?
AOP Records, I mean, it was like Sven is like a very close friend of ours, a fantastic guy. Like we grew very close together. Like in the beginning, he had the label as like a hobby, and now we kind of grew together. Now he does it full time. He always supported us in every way. So it's just natural that we stick with him. We feel like incredibly comfortable with his work. You can really feel that he puts all his heart in it, and we would never change the label. I can only recommend it. That's Sven from AOP Records is a guy that puts like all his heart into the label. And it's
Oh,
good to
perfect.
have
Full-hearted.
like being working with a friend and not only a business partner.
Oh, that could feel great. Yeah, and out from the studio again, I know that your European tour just begins in our home country, Budapest, on the 2nd of April, and I can foresee an unforgettable evening with you on stage. But what can you tell to the people visiting your concert? What should they be prepared for during your show?
Well, we're gonna play like 3, 4 new songs and then a mixture of older songs, like songs that we didn't play live for some time, and like 2 or 3 that we obviously always have to play because the people want it. We have like a new stage design. We have been rehearsing now all together, and I hope it will be all right. So I hope people will be satisfied. It's still a bit of time. We're going to the US before the European tour. We're having free release shows next week. And yeah, I hope we have a lot, can meet a lot of our Hungarian fans there. Very much looking
Yeah.
forward to it.
Hope so. That's a thing that you are a highly appreciated band for me, and I'm really looking forward to see this upcoming show, as well as your new songs and any of your new records. And here I'm also grateful for the chance to talk with you. And
Very
have
nice
fun
talking to you,
Budapest,
man.
and see you on the
My
2nd of
pleasure.
April.
See you there, man. It was very nice talking to you.
It
Have a
was a
good
very
evening.
nice talk for me. Thank you.
Bye
See
bye.
you. Bye.